is up, everybody? What is up? What is up? Hope everyone's having a good day. Hope everyone had a nice Christmas break. For those who are celebrating, I was up at my family's place for the past week or so. I got back yesterday. This is also where I found my football. I was looking for it and I found it, and I was like, oh, okay. So I took it back with me, as you can see. But yeah, hope everyone had a nice break. Had a nice Christmas celebrating with their family, friends, however you celebrated it, if you celebrated it. I've had a pretty busy year, so with work and just personal stuff. So I kind of just did nothing, which is kind of nice. So hopefully it was relaxing. It was nice to spend it with family and friends and all that. Purpose of today's video, though, we're going to be talking about Week 17 of the NFL season. This is our second to last one. Kind of crazy that we're at the end of Week 17, going to be approaching Week 18. I can't believe that. That's pretty wild. But yeah, this was a kind of an interesting week. There were some games that I did not see going a certain way, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But just to start off, we have our Thursday games, which were the Christmas Day games. There were three of them. The first was the Cowboys at Commanders. This one, I wasn't really surprised by who won. To be quite honest, I think Dallas is a better team than the Commanders at this point of the season with the rosters as they are. The Commanders have had just a ton of injuries. So I don't think you can really make a clean comparison between the two. The Cowboys' offense looked really good out of the gate in the first half, which is pretty typical. I feel like we're always talking about the Cowboys' offense. But yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott had a pretty solid game. 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a super efficient game, I would say. 19 of 37 isn't the best completion percentage. I will admit I didn't watch this game too closely. I was making food, so I couldn't really watch it as much. But yeah, just off of the stat line, so maybe these were explainable incompletions, but yeah, I just thought not super efficient from him. He also did take 6 sacks for almost 40 yards of a loss, which I was also quite surprised by. I had seen a couple of the sacks kind of in my peripheral vision, but I feel like normally Dallas doesn't give up too many sacks, which is why I was surprised by it. Malik Davis had a good game, 20 carries, 103 yards. Javonte Williams had 54 yards and a touchdown as well. On the receiving side, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Well, CeeDee Lamb, I'm looking at it now, 5 receptions off of 10 targets. So, again, I don't know if those are kind of throwaway balls, because if he's getting sacked 6 times, I imagine those pressures must be crazy. So he might be scrambling and throwing it away. If that's the case, let me know. I don't know. But yeah, 5 out of 10 is not great for 46 yards and no touchdowns. George Pickens, 78 yards off 4 receptions. That's not too bad for him. But the real star of the show, I guess, on the receiving front, Kevontae Turpin, 1 reception, 86 yards, and a touchdown. It was the same play, obviously, but yeah, that was a pretty crazy play. I did see that one, so that was kind of fun to watch. For Washington, well, Jaden Daniels has obviously been sacked for the rest of the season. I think that was Week 15 when that happened. And Marcus Mariota, I believe, is also out for the season. He got injured, though. And I think they're just resting him. Well, I think he's injured, and even if he was, I don't think they'd play him. So they had Josh Johnson in. I didn't think he played terrible given the circumstances, but, it kind of just is what it is. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, he had a good game. 11 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. I will say, he had a 72-yard run, so 105 5 yards. A lot of that is coming from that one run, which it still counts, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, he had a pretty nice game as well. So Dallas ended up winning this one 30-23. They improved to 7-8-1. Washington falls to 4-12. This game is kind of inconsequential because neither of these teams are going to be going into the playoffs. Next game, we had Lions and Vikings. This one surprised the shit out of me, I'll be honest. I thought the Lions would win this game. I picked the Lions to win this game. All I gotta say is, well, I'll give what I'm about to say a little bit of a preface. I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Is a good NFL quarterback. I think he's very competent. But this game he was seeing ghosts. Like, this reminded me a lot of like the Sam Darnold game where he threw like 5 picks. Because, my God, was Jared Goff a turnover machine. I don't know if it was just the Vikings, well, I know for a fact it wasn't just the Vikings. Number one, that his interception to, I want to say it was Harrison Smith. Of course it's Harrison Smith. I feel like I've been saying the name Harrison Smith for the Vikings for the past like 25 years. It's not true, obviously, but like, he gives me nightmares sometimes. I hate Harrison Smith. I respect him, but like, as a Packers fan, I hate him. That interception was inexcusable. That was a terrible ball. I can't believe he threw that. Or, I can believe he threw it because if he just would have thrown it accurately, he probably could have made the throw. But they literally threw it to Harrison. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But Jared Goff was a turnover machine. I think he ended up having 5 turnovers. Yeah, so he lost the ball. He fumbled it and lost it 3 times, and he had 2 picks against him. Not a good game for Jared Goff at all. Jahmyr Gibbs also fumbled the ball and lost it. So in total, they had 6 total turnovers, which is really bad. Rushing, not a lot to talk about. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs, 17 carries for 41 yards. That's not going to get it done. Like, it's not. David Montgomery, he had a couple, like, nice-ish runs, but, like, again, he wasn't, like, doing much. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the Lions just, in my opinion, just stunk. Like, they were terrible. Like, I genuinely could not believe it. Every single time, I was just sitting on my couch in shock. I legit could not believe it. And then when you look at, like, so you might look at the box score of this game and say, okay, Minnesota won. Detroit was playing horrible. Minnesota's offensive stats must be doing pretty well. Like, they're turning the ball over. They must be scoring, like, all this stuff. Not really. Not really. They were running the ball. That was pretty much it. Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones Sr., because they got the ball in such good field position, they were able to just either kick a field goal or just run the ball. Max Brosmer somehow ended this game 9 for 16, 51 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions, took 7 sacks for almost 50 yards of a loss, and they still won this game 23-10. Couldn't believe it. I genuinely could not believe it. This game did really help us. It did. I believe this was the game that eliminated Detroit from the playoffs. So thank you, Minnesota, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. We play Minnesota next week, and honestly, we could lose that game. I don't know. Like, it's kind of, we'll see what happens. We're going to be resting pretty much all of our starters, I would imagine, but yeah. All right. So Detroit falls to 8-8. Minnesota improves to 8-8. That was a shock to me. Let me know what you guys thought about that one. If you guys saw anything that I didn't see, because I was just like, I didn't know what to think about. I was watching it with my stepdad, and we were both like, Jared Goff is playing like absolute doo-doo. The Lions look horrible. Next game we have Broncos Chiefs. this one was fine. I thought Chris Oladikin, I think is how you say his name. I honestly didn't think he played that bad, like, for what this game was. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was horrible. I don't think Bo Nix played all that great, to be honest. At least from, like, a passing perspective. He did run the ball a little bit, and he did have a rushing touchdown. But I am concerned with... I think their defense is able to keep games really low scoring, but I do have a concern that the Broncos' offense just is a little bit too inconsistent for my comfort level and my confidence to say that, they're going to go super far in the playoffs. They find a way to win games. So if they can manage it with just their defense and, like, kind of a rough around the edges offense, power to them. But yeah, I have a slight concern about it. So we'll see what happens. But to be honest, I don't really feel like there was a ton of standout performances in this game. Broncos ended up winning this one 20-13. They improved to 13-3. Kansas City falls to 6-10. So then we move on to the two Saturday games. One of them was great. Was, like, really fun. The other one was not so fun. For me, at least. So the first one was the fun one. That was the Texans at the Chargers. So this, I felt like, was probably one of the best matchups of the week, and likely in the season itself. I thought both teams played, like, fairly well. I will say, the Texans defense was 100% the reason they won this game. I will put it that way. Like, they are just really good. Like, there's no other way to say that or talk about the Texans this year other than just their defense is really good. So yeah, that's it. Like, that's literally it. The Texans offense played really well in the first quarter. They put up 14, and then they kind of just held on to it for the rest of the game. Their defense just swarmed them. Like, they got those early points and then just kind of coasted, which it worked. So you can't really complain about it too much. But yeah, this game was all defense. CJ Stroud, I didn't think played, like, the best game of his career. I thought he still played fairly well. 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Like, it's not horrible. But yeah, I don't know. This game was really fun. It came down to the wire, though. If I remember correctly, there was oh god, I forget exactly how it ended. I think it was literally just like a touchdown. And then, let's see. Oh yeah, and then they missed the extra point. Yeah, okay. I remember there was something weird about it. So, props to Houston. I actually kind of want to see what Houston's standings are right now, because I think, so the Texans actually overtook the Chargers right now, which makes sense, obviously. So they're the 5th seed, and the Chargers are the 6th seed. Wow, that's crazy. I still can't believe that they went from 3-5, and then they've won the last 9 games or 8 games now. Good for them, honestly. Good for them. I'm honestly a fan of both of these teams this year, so if either one of them can get far, I'm cool with it. Moving on to the next game. I was trying to prolong talking about it because I'm still so mad. The Ravens at the Packers. So, I personally thought that the Packers would still find a way to win this game. But I did have a fear. Well, my fear was that if Lamar was playing, which I didn't think Derrick Henry would just absolutely destroy the Packers. We have so many defensive injuries to our key guys, like, that are just out for the year. Like, obviously Micah Parsons is a big one that most people know about, but we also have like 4 other guys that have been out for weeks. That I was just like, I was terrified of. Like, this was one of the games that I was most scared of, just because of the rushing and the offensive weapons that the Ravens have. I mean, there's like 2 of them, but like still. I had complete faith in Malik Willis. Sorry, there's an airplane overhead if you can hear it. I had complete faith in Malik Willis to handle this game. I think he showed in this game that he is one of the most competent backups who probably should be a starter somewhere. Like, I think he's better than some of the guys starting currently around the league. So I wouldn't be surprised if he left in free agency for one of those teams that needs a quarterback. We'll see, but Malik Willis was literally the offensive engine of this game. In addition to Christian Watson, we came out really strong. Our first drive was 2 back-to-back 40-yard passes, which was crazy. Malik Willis had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown, 288 yards throwing. Our rushing offense was Malik Willis. Our passing offense was obviously Malik Willis. But the real star of this game was Derrick Henry, the king himself. This dude was just unstoppable. I mean, legitimately. Like, there was nothing the Packers could do. All they did was just hand the ball to 22, and he would run for, like, I think what did he average per carry? 36 for 216 and 4 touchdowns. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I mean, I think that's legit 6. Is that 6 yards a carry? I think that's exactly 6 yards a carry. Someone, if my math's wrong, sorry. No, wait. Yeah, I think that's actually like exactly 6 yards a carry. That's absurd. 6 yards a carry on 36 carries is stupid good. Like, think about that. Like, if all you do is just that's all I did is just hand the ball off to him, really. 6 yards a carry, you're basically guaranteeing yourself a first down every other play. Like, that's crazy. I can't. Oh my God, I was furious watching this game. But yeah, like, my frustration and fear was that I couldn't even blame it on. I couldn't blame this loss on Jordan Love being out, because our offense, quite honestly, looked fine. Like, I didn't have like huge concerns about our offense. Obviously, like, our rushing offense was a little bit lacking, but that's because we were resting Josh Jacobs. He got like 5 carries, I think. So it was whatever. But what concerns me is that going into the playoffs, where we're either going to play the Bears or we're going to play the Eagles, who, as of late, have both looked really good. I'll talk about both teams in a couple, whenever I talk about them in this video. But I'm really worried about our defensive performance if we're letting the Ravens do this to us. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry is like a generational running back, but like, our secondary is Swiss cheese, and if we can't have a competent run defense or a competent pass rush or like a solid secondary, we are so screwed. Like, that's all it is. We're gonna be a first round playoff exit. So that was my fear coming out of this game. That's my takeaway, is we better show up and show out. Otherwise, it's going to be another season sent home packing earlier than we'd like to, which is going to suck. The Ravens ended up winning this one 41-24. They improved to 8-8. They keep, they keep the Steelers. Wait. No, sorry, that was the Browns that did that. Never mind. So they actually, I believe, creeped up the Steelers and overtook them for the AFC North. I'm gonna have to check on that. But the Packers fall to 9-6-1, so they clinched the 7th seed, but they can't go anywhere above it from what I've seen. So they'll be a 7th seed. That's kind of it. Which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping to try and get into a top 4 seed and maybe overtake the Bears, but I just don't think I don't think we have the gravitas. We do not have the position right now to do that. So where is the Ravens? Or no, sorry, I misspoke. So the Steelers are still a game ahead, it looks like, of the Ravens. Yeah, but they're still in playoff contention, which is really interesting. Let me just double check though. I think that who do they play next week though? I want to say that they play the Steelers. Or no, I could be wrong about that. No, yeah, they play the Steelers. So I think if the Ravens win that game, they're in as the AFC North, divisional champions, or that they have the title. So that'll be a fun one. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, definitely interesting. Next game, we got Steelers-Browns. So actually, this is kind of good timing. I called this one. I thought this would be an upset. I thought that DK Metcalf's suspension for basically the rest of the regular season would really disrupt their offense. And oh my God, their offense looked horrible. I also think the fact that Myles Garrett was like a sack away, and there was all this talk about, him sacking Aaron Rodgers, and that would be like, whatever it was. Aaron Rodgers knew where he was at all times on the field. Like, you could see just the body language. He did not want to take a sack. I mean, he took 2, but it wasn't the Myles Garrett. But yeah, like, oh my God, their offense was just like a non-starter. They could do nothing. Jaylen Warren, I thought, had like an okay game. He had 64 yards on 12 carries, but like, this was just a freaking grind, man. Oh, jeez. Like, so I feel pretty proud of myself that I called this one. I did win some money off this. I put a bet on the Browns, because when I did it, it was like right after. It was right after the Steelers game against the Seahawks, and it was actually, I think, it was before the suspension was like released, so the odds were still like, I think they were like plus, I want to say like plus 350 or like maybe plus 400 for the Steelers to win this game. So I put like $10 on it, and I made a pretty decent amount. For like the amount that I normally bet, you know what I mean? But yeah, the Browns ended up winning this one 13-6. They improved to 4-12. The Steelers fall to 9-7. They are in danger of losing the AFC North title, as I just mentioned, as the Ravens won against the Packers. So we'll see what happens there. But that was a I wouldn't say it was a fun game. It was an interesting game. Next game, Patriots-Jets. I'm gonna talk about this one for maybe 30 seconds. Drake May, Mr. Future MVP, potentially himself, had just an absolute monster game. 19 of 21, 256 yards, and 5 interceptions. Or sorry, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. I got that backwards. That's insane. That's genuinely insane. Granted, the New York Jets are terrible, but, still impressive. Stephon Diggs had a good game, 101 yards, touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, 55 yards, touchdown. Hunter Henry, 49 yards, touchdown. Efton Schism, I don't know how to say that. 40 yards, touchdown. Austin Hooper, 11 yards, touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson also had a rushing touchdown. Breece Hall had a good game, 14 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. I saw that he also passed 1,000 yards rushing for the season, and I think, if I remember the stat line correctly, or the whatever record or whatever it was, he's the first Jet running back to pass 1,000 yards in a season for rushing since like 2014 or of New York. Like, my God. But yeah, New England ended up winning 42-10. They improved to 13-3. The Jets fall to 3-13. Not great. Not great. Alright, next game we got the Saints at the Titans. Couple things about this game. I honestly thought the quarterbacks played fairly well, specifically Tyler Shugg. 22-27, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Cam Ward was a little bit inaccurate, I will say. 21 of 40, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Yeah, Chris Olave, great game, 119 yards and a touchdown. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's, like, honestly one of the best receivers in the league, and it's a shame that he's on just a bad team. I do like what the Saints are putting together down there. I think Tyler Shugg is going to be the quarterback for the short term. I don't know yet if he's the long-term solution. I think he's shown that he can be a competent quarterback in the league for sure. They just got a decimated roster over the past couple seasons, you know, like they've lost guys to injuries, retirement, free agency, pretty much everything. So yeah, I don't have really strong feelings on the Saints, but yeah, the Titans. Tony Pollard had a pretty decent game as well. He had 85 yards on 18 carries. Yeah, and then receiving a couple touchdowns. So, you know, I also wanted to mention the fumbles by Cam Ward. So he had 2 fumbles. He did lose one, but he did recover one. So, you know, it happens. I'm not going to be, like, crucifying him for it. But Saints ended up winning 34-26. Saints improved to 6-10. Tennessee falls to 3-13. Next game, Jaguars-Colts. This one was a really fun one. I felt really bad for Indianapolis because I forget what game it was. Oh, God. I'm trying to remember. It doesn't matter. I think it was the Houston... No. I couldn't remember. I'm forgetting, sorry. But, sorry, that was loud. My throat's a little scratchy, so when I try to talk, I just, like, actually came out at full volume. My bad. Yeah, I forget what game it was, but I believe by the time that they, like, the game started, they had already been eliminated from the playoffs, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to see Phillip Rivers in the playoffs this year. I thought that would just be absolutely hilarious. But yeah, Jacksonville's a legit team, man. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence had, like, a fantastic game passing. Like, I'll just say that right off the rip. But I mean, they found a way to win. Trevor Lawrence did have 2 rushing touchdowns, but you know, he's an athletic guy. He can scramble. I don't think anyone really cares if he has a fantastic passing game, as long as they win. You know what I mean? Maybe they care about the contract that he has, but other than that, like, yeah. But Phillip Rivers, I honestly didn't think played too bad either. But in the end, I think that Jacksonville was just the better team for sure. Jaguars ended up winning this one 23-17. They improved to 12-4. Indianapolis falls to 8-8. As I said before, they are eliminated from the playoffs, which they started the season 7-1 and then finished the season 1-7. Obviously, you know, week 18 we'll see what happens, but like, that is craziness. I genuinely can't believe it. I thought they were gonna be like a top 3 seed, maybe. Man, was that a surprise. Someone's gonna get fired for that, 100%. Like, injuries, sure, but their decline had already started by that point. You know what I mean? Like, their decline started in week 8. Like, that's when it was. And a lot of their injuries happened like week 12, week 13. So, I mean, I don't Where's Jackson? I think Jacksonville's second. Or no, Denver new. Yeah. Let me look. Okay, sorry, yeah, Jacksonville's third. And they'll remain third. The Steelers are, well, Steelers or maybe Ravens. Yeah, they're several games behind. So, all right, Jacksonville's going to be in a good spot come playoff season, so that'll be interesting. Next one. Oh, God, this one pissed me off. I knew it was going to happen, too. Buccaneers at Dolphins. Stupid. Just stupid. Baker Mayfield had a good game, but also a bad game, in my opinion. He can throw touchdowns. Like, he honestly kind of reminds me of Brett Favre. Like, he can be the reason that you win a game, like the only reason you win a game, but he can also be your biggest detriment to your team winning. The man is a touchdown and interception machine. Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin Jr. both had over 100 yards receiving. Mike Evans had a touchdown, Chris Godwin Jr. had a touchdown. But, yeah, I mean, it just was not enough. Quinn Ewers actually looked pretty good. I thought 14 to 22, 172, and 2 touchdowns, no picks. Devon Achane, he didn't have like a typical game for him, but he did what he needed to do to put the team in a position to win, which is fine. I will say, I think the reason Quinn Ewers did as well as he did, I am almost 100% positive that there was a very strict game plan in place here where there was very specific rules that he had to follow. Like, this was like very, very scripted according to Mike McDaniel's whatever's in his brain. I couldn't tell you. Mushrooms and Scooby-Doo, probably. The man is impossible to figure out, but yeah, like, they weren't asking him to do too much is what I'm trying to say. It worked though. I mean, they won this game 20-17. They improved to 7-9. The Buccaneers fall to 7-9. Again, another team whose downfall should be studied, because the Colts and the Buccaneers were two teams that for the first, 6-7 weeks, like maybe 8, like honestly even like week 9 or 10, like I thought they were going to be kind of legit teams. The Buccaneers had some trouble with injuries, a little bit more than the Colts in my opinion, at least for like the beginning to middle part of the season. But yeah, my God, like I genuinely can't believe that they're also out of the playoffs to the Panthers. Like, I mean, because I think the Panthers also clinched their spot. Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, disappointing season for the Buccaneers for sure. Next game. Oh, actually, the Panthers also lost. So they could do it. Seahawks at Panthers. Seahawks handled business. Zach Charbonnet, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't think Sam Darnold played like amazing. 147 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Like, that's not crazy. But he got the job done. Bryce Young struggled in this game, which, I mean, this is one of the best defenses in the league, so I don't know. I wasn't really expecting a lot. I expected Seattle to win this game pretty handily. But yeah, I don't know. Like, Bryce Young finished the game with 54 yards passing and 27 yards rushing. He did have a rushing touchdown, so like, I'll give him that, but I don't know. Seahawks won 27-10. They improved to 13-3. Carolina falls to 8-8. Let's see, what's the next game? Oh, sorry, Cardinals Bengals. So I picked the Bengals, but I was worried that their offense wouldn't show up, as I feel like sometimes they, like, the first couple games Joe Burrow's been back, there's been some shakiness. I forget what game it was, but their offense looked really bad. That may have been against the Ravens, I think, maybe. That was not the case here. Joe Burrow looked really good. Their offense looked really good. Joe Burrow had 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Joe Flacco did have to come into the game, but I think that was at the end and kind of like garbage time. Chase yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, yeah, their offense I felt like really clicked, which is good. I was happy to see that. Because that's a really fun offense when they're all healthy and they're playing like well together. I think they have really good chemistry. But yeah, I mean, they just gotta stay healthy. That's specifically Joe Burrow. So like, invest in a freaking O-line. Jesus Christ, Cincinnati, figure it out. But yeah, Cincinnati ended up winning this one 37-14 over the Cardinals. They improved to 6-10. The Cardinals fall to 3-13. Giants Raiders. The Giants. I have like so little to say about this game. It's not even funny. So the Giants are so bad that they even mess up losing. Like, I'll say this. I can appreciate wanting to each week put out a good game experience for not only the fans, but also for the people who are playing the game as competitors. I can understand that. When your season is just doo-doo anyways, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what you do. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about this game. The Giants won 34-10. They improved to 3-13. The Raiders fall to 2-14. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. In all objectivity, I don't really think it matters because the Giants, like, for their pick, I'm assuming they're going to be like 2 or 3, just depending how the rest of the season shakes out. They're not going to take a quarterback, and the Raiders are going to take a quarterback. I would be shocked if they didn't. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm sure they're going to take a quarterback. Or maybe they'll trade the pick for a quarterback elsewhere in the league. I don't know, but like, the Giants aren't going to take, so like, it doesn't really matter all that much. They're still going to have a high pick, so it's fine. Whatever. I know a lot of people are complaining about it. I don't really think it's that big of a deal personally, but that's my opinion. Next game, we had Philly at Buffalo. This one, I don't even know what to think. There was a lot happening in this game. You guys got to let me know what you thought about it. This game went about how I thought it would go, other than the fact that I thought that Buffalo would be able to, like, just surpass the Eagles. Number one, I don't think Jalen Hurts played well. Like, I just don't. I'm really not high on him. Like, he can have a good game, but I do not trust him. Like, if his defense was not elite at this point of the season, I would not trust the Eagles to win games. Like, I just wouldn't. I don't think they're competent enough to put up points on the board if it becomes a shootout and their defense is either tired or injured or whatever. I just don't trust that team to do that. Granted, they are 11-5, so I am just shooting just pure bullshit right now, to be frank. But like, I just don't trust their offense to do anything. On the other hand, for the Bills, I was super disappointed in how they looked. I mean, it's a good defense, but like, man, Josh Allen was doing everything he could to move anything, like to do anything in the game. He did miss the guy in the end zone, whatever. Like, I don't know. I can see both sides of the criticism where it's like, okay, like, yeah, you should have hit him, but like, you did everything else. Like, he needs help. Can't do it all. But he's somehow pulled them to almost take it all, but we'll see what happens. I don't feel like anyone really had a spectacular game. Brandon Cooks played fairly well, 4 receptions, 101 yards, but like, other than that, like, I can't say anyone really stood out in their performance. Yeah, I mean, Philly ended up winning this one 13-12, so it was not a high-scoring game, not a lot of offense. I will say, Michael Badgley, I forgot about this. Michael Badgley did miss an extra point, and then I believe they tried second time they tried to go for 2, and they obviously didn't convert. Let me just see here. I think it was the second touchdown they failed to convert. Well, I mean, they failed to convert both of their extra point and the second, or the 2-point conversion. So let's see. Yeah, okay, it was the second touchdown that they failed to convert. I couldn't remember which one it was, but yeah. So Buffalo, I've seen a lot of posts about how this is like Josh Allen's, well, best year to succeed and get to a Super Bowl. They're a 7th seed, and the AFC looks, to be honest, the Bills. Josh Allen might be one of the better quarterbacks, or probably is the best quarterback in the AFC playoffs right now. I'd have to really think about it. Well, I can just look at the standings right now, actually. Personally, I'm not high on... Sorry, I'm just restarting the app. It's being weird. I'm not high on the Bills. They, like, other than Josh Allen and James Cook, how are you going to beat some of these teams? I don't know. I do not know. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll do some damage. It's unclear. It is unclear. I'm not putting any money on the Bills come postseason, though. I'll tell you that. Yeah, next game. Oh, this was such a good game, and I was so happy at the outcome. We got Bears at 49ers. This game was honestly incredible. These are probably two of my least favorite teams in not only the NFC, but also the entire NFL. And as I mentioned in my picks video, I wanted the Bears to lose, so we might have a chance to take that NFC North title. In the end, it didn't really matter because we lost. So, whatever. But I was happy to see the Bears lose. But this game was so much fun. It was neck and neck to the very end. It was awesome. So, number 1, Caleb Williams. I hate to say it just because he plays for the Bears. He's going to be such a good... he already is a good quarterback, in my opinion. Disagree with me if you want. Check out the stats. I don't know what to tell you. So that's number 1. Number 2 about Caleb Williams. That man is a killer. Genuinely, watching him run off the field, well, both at halftime and at the end of the game, when obviously they lost, he was ready to shoot someone. He was so mad. So I feel like he's got that killer instinct, which I'm not loving that for the Packers next couple seasons, if I'm being completely honest. But we'll see. DeAndre Swift also had a good game. Oh, speaking of DeAndre Swift, the balls of the Bears to run a lateral pass, the game on the line. That was craziness. Could not believe it, but that's Ben Johnson, I guess. He's got those crazy trick plays and all that. Brock Purdy, I thought, played really well as well. 24-33, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Christian McCaffrey was everywhere in this game, man. Oh my god. 23 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown. He also had 4 receptions for 41 yards, so that's pretty solid. Luther Burden III, 8 receptions for 138 yards and a touchdown. Colston Loveland, who has been really good for the Bears this season, he also had 94 yards and a touchdown. This was probably one of the better games of the season, if I had to say. But yeah, sorry, I was going to say Chicago. San Francisco ended up winning this one 42-38. They improved to 12-4. Chicago falls to 11-5. I've said it many times before, but I still cannot believe the season the 49ers have had. I can't believe it. I thought they would be terrible this year, and somehow they have ended up as... Sorry, I'm just looking at the playoff seeding. I think they're a 2nd seed. Oh no, they're a 5 seed. Oh, because Seattle. Okay, wow. That's one of the best damn 5 seeds I've ever seen in my life. Oh my lord. Yikes. Yeah, craziness. Alright, and then finally our Monday night game. I know we're already at 48 minutes, so for those of you who are still here, I appreciate it. Leave a like or a comment saying you got this far. I'm just yapping at this point. I don't know what the fuck's going. Oops, I don't know what's going on. Alright. Last game we got Rams at Falcons. This one surprised me. I watched a bit of this game. I watched the second half mainly. Biggest stat line for me, Rams went scoreless against the Falcons in the first half. This game was 21-0 in favor of Atlanta. I mean, obviously the second half, the Rams came out and put up 17 in the third quarter, but craziness. Matt Stafford ended this game 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. So not great. Kyron Williams, I feel like, had a pretty good game. 13 carries for 92 yards. Puka got shut down. 47 yards total. What else was the stat? There was something else I was going to talk about. Yeah, Kirko. Well, okay. I'm kind of building to the main thing, but Kirko, the man, the myth, the legend himself, if he's a game manager, if he's not being asked to do too much, I think he can be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. That's like a very specific situation, though. Yeah, he played pretty decent. 13-20, 126 yards and a touchdown. No picks. Bijan Robinson, though. This was the stat. 22 carries, 195 yards, and a touchdown. He had a 93-yard run, but, still, that's craziness. So, props to him. Props to the Falcons for knocking off the freaking Rams. I did not see that one coming. Yeah, that dropped the Rams away from, the NFC West title, and it dropped them below the 49ers, at least for this week's standing. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I don't know. It's craziness in the NFL, man. I like looking ahead to some of the games. There's a couple of them that will legit decide the playoff rankings. You got the Panthers, Buccaneers. You got Seahawks, 49ers. What's the other one? Cardinals, Rams could be impactful. Probably not super impactful. Chargers, Broncos. I don't think that'll change, because I think that the Broncos have locked in the AFC West title, but I think the Chargers could move up. And then, what was the other one? Ravens, Steelers was the other one. So, with that, I think I'm going to end this video here. We're about 51 minutes in, and I gotta go to bed because I work tomorrow. But thank you all to those who, thank you to everyone who watched this video. Sorry, I'm lost in the sauce. I appreciate it. As always, leave a like or a comment if you disagreed with something, have your own take, wanted to just chat, let me know. I try to respond to as many as I can. If you like this video, subscribe for more. I'm going to be making some playoff ones, make some college football videos, so should be a fun time the next couple weeks. I also got some other stuff coming out, so just stay tuned. But yeah, thank you all for watching, as I said before, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.